Hello and happy Wednesday. Guys, you know what time it is? We have another podcast coming to you. Today's guest is Mark Douglas. Mark is a Facebook Blueprint certified digital marketing associate, strategist, and the CEO of his own marketing agency, The Mental Marketer. I'm so excited for you guys to listen into this conversation today. If you are a content creator, entrepreneur, and you are not utilizing the internet as you should, this one is for you. We're going to be talking Funnel Building 101, and Mark is going to be sharing with us how he helps people and entrepreneurs build simple systems for business owners and online entrepreneurs that generate hundreds of qualified leads and sales every single month for their business without spending a fortune. Of course, you're going to get to know a little bit more about Mark, his backstory, and I can't wait for you to see how he can add value into you and the content or business that you are trying to launch or scale. Let's get into it. Hey there, my name is Ybarra and I am your host. I am a business owner of 7 years, author of Thriving into 30, and a confidence and high performance coach. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Positive Platform podcast, where here we love practicing a positive perspective, even when life hands us major obstacles. So my intention with this podcast is to not only bring light and motivation to your day through stories that we will be sharing from these amazing minds and business owners just like you and I, but to add value by giving insight and tools to help you expand, visualize, and create your own desired lifestyle and business. I hope you enjoy this upcoming episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. We greatly appreciate your support. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Positive Platform podcast. Today's special guest, you've heard his introduction. He wears many hats, and he is the go-to person for anything digital marketing. I'm so excited to have this conversation with you. Today we have Mark Douglas with us. Thanks so much for being here.
Why, thank you, Amber. I appreciate the very gracious introduction, and I'm so happy to be on your show today to share with your audience.
Yes, I know you're going to provide so much value. And guys, most of the people that listen to this, they're either wanting to break out of the 9-to-5 and become entrepreneurs, or they're wanting to take their expertise and share it in a way that will be profitable so that they could get to that next level of success for whatever that looks like for themselves. So I definitely want to dig into that later. But before we do that, this past weekend, I had the privilege of being a speaker for an event. And one of the ladies said, it's so important to know people's starting point, because we can look at Mark and the introduction that you heard before you started listening to this podcast and think, oh my gosh, he's done all these things and he has his own agency. And it's like the starting point is so important, though, to know where people come from and to know that none of us have it all figured out. And all we're trying to do is help you get to your next level. So Mark, I'd love to start off with the beginning. I'd love to start off with you telling us a little bit more about your background, what got you interested into this marketing career path and turning it into what you've done and built today, and give us some more insight about you.
Wow. The beginning.
That's such a loaded question. Okay, maybe not the beginning, but give us a little snapshot story of what it looked like for you on your journey to get to building up your agency and helping other people with their marketing strategies. I want to know more.
Right. So I'll keep it to the 30-minute version so we can fit it within the podcast episode. And
okay.
Well, if I was to go back to the beginning, I would start my journey out as a young man that grew up in I wouldn't say impoverished, but an area of Los Angeles, California. That's where I grew up at, in a suburb that I didn't grow up with a lot of resources, at least not the monetary resources. Our family was a large family. I was the youngest of 9 children, a single mom, and I think she did the best she could to raise us, but we still never had much in the way of monetary resources. The neighborhood we lived in was, unfortunately, it was one of those areas that consistently was in the top 10 cities of highest crime areas. So I grew up with that background. I was given a 0 to nothing chance to make something of myself. But I have to thank the family around me, my grandparents, and those that supported me with giving me the thoughts that I didn't have to. This did not have to be my future. And so I immediately after graduating from high school, I went straight into the military, and where I served overseas, and I was exposed to a lot of different cultures and a lot of different things that opened my eyes up to the world, and to see that there were a lot of things. And I talk about that part of my journey because I think it's sort of similar to your path in some ways, because you took a backpacking journey, and it really changed your way of thinking about life in general. And it was a really important turning point in your life. And I think for me, being able to get out of the environment that I was in growing up and being exposed to a lot of other different cultures really shaped how I went further into the world.
Really quickly too, before we move on, it's really important for me to touch on really quick, because I feel like I know I also have a lot of younger listeners listening in.
Okay.
And I'm wondering, you mentioned that turning point and getting to know more of the world once you were open to different cultures and experiences and things like that. But what was it? Was it something in particular before that you thought, I want to join the military because I know that there's more out there. I want something different. Before that stage in your life, to where your eyes opened up from the experience that you had in the military, what was it before that maybe shifted your perspective of, I want to get out of here in some capacity, or I'm made for more in some capacity? Like, give us an idea of what that looked like for you then.
The reason I went straight to the military is because there was, like I said, I was given a choice of, I was told that I would either end up in jail or not alive. And I did not want to end up in either of those situations. And with my family not having a lot of resources, there was no way that they could afford for me to go to college. So the military was the best choice for me, because I was going to get money for college. So they were going to pay for me to go to college, and it was going to get me a better education and help me to gain some leadership skills and all these other life skills that I needed outside of what I learned in high school.
And you now have a bachelor's degree in business marketing. And I want to point that out and say congratulations, because with wherever anyone listening comes from, you made this decision to better your life. And I'm actually very just inspired by that, because at such a young age, when you're still a teenager, when you still don't know what you want the rest of your life to look like, the fact that you made that decision to be better in any capacity, to give yourself that chance when other people told you you had 0 to none, that's amazing. So congratulations on that. And
Thank you. Thank you.
I'll let you continue. I just
Thank you.
had to, because I feel, even though you're a high performer in my eyes, like, and I know you are from everything you've built, something tells me maybe you don't give yourself enough credit. And I want to be that friend and that person that lets you know, like, hey, that's so awesome. And more people need to do that and think of that. So
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I've got an associate's degree in accounting too. Don't forget that.
oh, look at, okay, what else did I miss? That's awesome.
Yes, yes. So, yes, I have to say that I have been fortunate along the way to be introduced to others that have shared with me their journey. And with others sharing with me their journey, that has helped me along in my journey. And it's interesting because I can circle back around to that, just that point right there. And because that point right there is one of the things that motivates me today. That's really one of the things that motivates me in doing what I do today. The fact that I had others around me that were willing to share their knowledge, their experience, their journey with me, that gave me the vision and helped me to see where I could be and where a clear direction for me on my path. That's I could say, if we wanted to sing a gospel song, you could say, I once was lost, but now I'm found.
Yes. And I completely understand that. That's a driving point for me too. And so to me, that resonates so much. And I'm sure people listening to this can think of that one person that, even if it was just one, people talk so much about finding a mentor. And sometimes we don't realize that we had them along the way, that we were blessed enough to have those people that shared that knowledge. And how are we going to pass that on to other people? It's a great sharing point.
Yes. So back to the story. After I spent 4 years in the military, I decided that I did not want to move back to the Los Angeles where I lived. There was a horrific experience that I had on one visit back to California that cemented that decision for me. And I'll just say it was horrific. But after that, the last duty station I had for the military was in Texas. And when I got out of the military, I made my home in Texas. And Texas is where I've lived for the last close to 30 years. Either some area of Texas, from San Antonio to Houston. Shortly after leaving the military, I had a few years where I was still exploring options, where I was working for, I was going from job to job, telemarketing. I was working at grocery stores, cashiers, register, travel agency. So I saw quite a few. I had 1 year when I had 6 W-2s. So if that gives you an idea.
Yeah, I hear that.
And then you're piecing all these W-2s together to file your taxes. So that just tells you where I was. It wasn't until I one day a friend told me, and they said, you've got this money for college. Why don't you go to college? And it was a simple thing for them to say to me, but it really, just that simple thing that someone said to me, it rang true. And something said, why don't you? And that's when I started taking the steps necessary to enroll in college. And it was interesting because at the time I felt that, man, they make it hard to get in college.
Yeah.
I thought that it was easy to get in college. It seems like they want you to go to college, but I had tests to take. I had entrance exams to take. I had appointments to make. I said, I can understand why people don't want to go to college with all of these hoops that you have to go through.
Yeah.
But I think it's part of the process because it teaches you that you just put those steps together and you continue to move forward until you accomplish that goal. That was probably the first lesson I learned going to college, was actually enrolling to get to college.
Yeah.
Yes. So I go to college, I complete a 2-year degree, and then I go on to complete a 4-year degree. Throughout the time, I had one major change, which was from management to marketing. And the reason I chose marketing is because I wanted to give myself during that first year exposure to some different courses to see exactly what I gravitated towards. What were those classes that I was extremely interested in? What classes did I go and pick up the books at the library and read on my own personal time? And I found that marketing just really resonated with me. I felt it was a skill that everyone uses, and we can use that skill, and regardless of the industry that we're in. And I've seen some marketers on television that were I was a fan of. I'm old school. I'm old school. So I can remember turning on the television and seeing infomercials with Tony Robbins.
Dean Graziosi.
Dean Graziosi. Yes. And some of my favorites, Mr. ShamWow. Those were some interesting commercials for me. And I found it interesting.
All right. And I'm sure you're happy you made that decision because, one, it seems like it's something you're really good at, but two, that you enjoy it. And how do you feel you're using what you had learned getting your degree now? What shifted? Because again, I don't know the exact percentage, but let's just, in lamest terms, most people get a degree in something and end up doing work in a completely different field. So what made you want to begin what you have? And we'll talk about it more. I know you have the Facebook group, Funnel Building 101, which we're going to have linked up to the show notes, guys. Definitely do that if you're wanting to build a funnel and you don't know where to start and it seems just like too much information to consume. Definitely check out Mark's Funnel Building 101 Facebook group and tell us a little bit more about that. Like, how did you start the digital marketing agency, The Mental Marketer? And when was that shifting point for you of saying, I want to turn this degree into, now I'm an entrepreneur and want to serve people in this like major capacity online?
That's a great question. And that didn't happen immediately.
Okay.
And as soon as I graduated with a marketing degree, my goal at the time, my humongous goal at the time, was to make at least $30,000 a year.
Yeah.
That's
relatable
goal.
Though. It's the truth. It's very relatable, and people want that security and want that, certain salary.
Yes. So immediately I was, what I did was, and it was also my goal to work for one of the companies that was on the Forbes list of top 20 companies in the United States.
Oh, nice.
So I took that list of the Forbes top 20,
Mm-hmm.
and I contacted each and every company on that list to send out my resume to say, I'm here. I'm a fresh graduate. I can work for you. Hire me.
Yeah, that's
Every
bold.
single one said no.
Oh, wow. Okay.
From the 20th to the 19th, all the way down to the first, they all gave me the same answer, and that was no. But I did get a yes from another company, and they were willing to pay me, I think $32,300 something dollars a year.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, you reached your goal though. That's the important part.
It was over my goal. I was completely elated. I looked at my bills and I said, wow, if I could just make this much every week, I will be set. I won't have a care in the world. So I did. So I took the job with this company, and the field that it was in wasn't marketing. Okay. It was in insurance. It was an insurance auto claims adjuster. Okay. I would say the job was great. I loved it. It was interesting. I got to really dive into the insurance auto claims field. I was sent to Cleveland, Ohio for a couple of weeks. Then they would send me to Arizona for a couple of weeks. And then they would send me to Florida for a couple of weeks. I had a company car that I had access to with a credit card. It was a great job with good freedom. So I'm the type of person that if I'm doing a job, I'm going to be the best that I can be at it. And exactly. That's a trait that I carry with me, regardless of the position that I'm doing. So that's what I did. I really poured myself into that career. I poured myself into learning about vehicles, engines, auto accidents. I took additional courses. Some the company paid for, some I took on my own. Throughout a 20-year career in that auto insurance industry, I climbed the ladder up to a management position with, get this, a top 10 company on the Forbes list of best companies to work for.
Yes, that's amazing. And how did that serve your confidence in getting to whatever that next level of success and fulfillment and life look like? Because here you are, you got to this point already. Let's not forget where you started from, and then you make this goal, you surpass that goal, and now you're working with one of the top 10 companies. What does that do for your confidence? And then where did you go from there in your career?
I felt as though, I think I've always felt as though my future is in my own hands. I've always felt that as though my future is in my own hands. Well, I'll say that's something that I have learned along my path. I have practiced the positive mental attitudes. I've practiced the visualizations. I've practiced them on a smaller level, and because I've had success with smaller level and smaller items, it's given me confidence to exercise those same skills on bigger levels, on the bigger level. If I can accomplish this goal, this $2,000 a month goal, then I can accomplish a $10,000 a month goal just using those same principles. So at this point, I feel as though I can go to the ceiling, the roof. All it takes is for me to make the decision, that's where I want to go, and putting together the plan and then executing the plan. 3 steps right there. That's gold for your audience.
Yes, I love it.
Just those 3 steps right there, you can accomplish what you want. So I can accomplish it. And here I am in this position. I now in this insurance position, I hold one of the top insurance designations, two of the top insurance designations that you can get as an insurance claims adjuster.
Wow.
Yes, I'm a lifelong learner, and I'm always seeking out knowledge. I'm working at a top-notch company, working from home, basically managing an entire city for a territory, and have complete autonomy with this job, major benefits.
Wow.
And then the job lets me go.
And after how many years were you building to this amount of success within that company?
Within that company, it was after 10 years of building up. And this happened right before COVID, about right before COVID. Mm-hmm. There were adjustments being made in the industry, and things were changing. Technology is taking over. Technological changes are happening. Mm-hmm. And they couldn't see another position for me in the company, being that I was remote. And so the decision was made to let me go. Mm-hmm. So I never forget when I got the call, and I heard the words on the other line, but it didn't hit me until after the phone call was over. Mm. And that's when I had to really actually face the actual news that this 20 years total, but 10 years with this company that I had built up and worked so hard to maintain, I lost it. I lost it all. And you could say in the blink of an eye.
What was that immediate response? Because again, we're all human, and you could be a positive mindset person, but you're working and you've dedicated your life to a company this long, and now you're going to need a shift. You don't know what that looks like yet because it's all happening so fast. What was that immediate reaction, and how long did it take for you to start actually creating momentum into your next phase of career?
Fear, worry, and just uncertainty. A lot of uncertainty about what the future held. And at that point, I have a family to support. Mm-hmm. I have bills to pay. I have food to put on the table. I need to, I've got, at this point, my expenses are very, I'm living life. Yeah. And just the thought of wondering, where is the next paycheck going to come from? How am I going to keep food on the table? And that brought up a lot of fear in me. And I didn't have much time to wallow in my misery or sit there and cry over spilled milk.
Yeah.
I had to make a decision, and I was very easily employable in the same industry. And I have no doubt that I could have made one phone call and I would have been working, doing the same thing, and continued on in the same field, but for a different company.
But
I had an opportunity to really go deep inside. Mm-hmm. I had an opportunity to go deep inside and ask myself some tough questions about the reason why I was actually doing what I was doing. Why was I in this insurance industry field? I've got an opportunity to change it now. This, they'll say that it's either inspiration or desperation that will spur you to make a change. I've always had the entrepreneurial spirit. Throughout the time that I was in this insurance field, I actually owned and operated a business, and it was a physical product business that I sold electronics. I was very successful. I grew it to 6 figures. There were some problems with the electrical product, and it became impossible to continue because the customer service was overwhelming. I didn't continue that business, but I learned a lot of lessons from it. And I always said that I wanted to do it again. And if I had the opportunity to do it again, I had a list of things that would have to be in place. I wasn't going to do a physical product again. So I've done that. I wasn't drop shipping, but I was actually buying inventory, storing it in a room, selling. I was selling on Craigslist. I was selling on Amazon. I was selling on eBay. I was selling wholesale to other people that were reselling them because I had negotiated such a low price on this product.
Wow.
If I had it to do over again, I said that I would have negotiated with the manufacturer because I was dealing directly with the manufacturer from overseas.
Yeah.
I would have negotiated to get a better quality product. A better quality product would have upheld more of my type of standards, and it would have reduced the amount of returns on electronic product. But then I also said that I probably didn't, if I did physical product, I didn't want it to be electronics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You learned there.
Yeah. Something that wouldn't have the electrical component to it because the electrical components just, they're sensitive and they'll wear out maybe. And so I had a few, points if I did go into business that I would not do, or that it would have to be different if I went into business again. Yeah. So here I am in a position, I have an opportunity to decide where I want to go. Then I am on Facebook scrolling on Black Friday, an ad comes across my mobile phone, and it's for a 4-week free social media course.
Here we go. Here we go. And you've already had that entrepreneurial spirit. You know what it's like to be at home and make your own hours and create that environment for your own self to excel. Okay, so you see the ad. What happens?
Social media marketing course, free 4-week course. This is interesting. I didn't click on it right away. I saved it. I saved it to come back later. And that was Black Friday. It was a couple days later that I came back to it and I signed up to start on December the 1st because it was a full 30 days. So just one side note, Facebook ads work.
Okay, Facebook ads work. They're changing a lot nowadays, but they work.
Yeah, they've changed some of the tracking abilities.
I would agree with that, though. If you know how to use them properly, they could definitely scale your business like no other. So
yes, Facebook, they work. It works. But during taking this social media marketing course, I discovered some things that opened up my eyes to the marketing industry and how much it has changed. And a couple of statistics in particular that really, really blew my mind, actually. It made me say, this is where I need to be. And one of those statistics was that the Facebook ads platform, advertisers are spending $237 billion on that platform. $237 billion is what advertisers are spending on the platform. And I think that was a January 2020 statistic, if you want to look it up, but it's definitely true. And it's with a B. And that's, if advertisers are spending that much, then the amount that they are making is more than that, because advertisers won't continue to spend money if they're not making money. The second statistic I discovered was that the average rate of return for the Google Ads platform is over 200%. And those numbers really blew my mind. And I said to myself, this is where I need to be. This is where I need to be. And the question wasn't, for me, how do I start? The question I asked myself was, what do I need to do to be in this space? What do I need to do to build a sustainable business in this space? Because this space is here, and this is where the future is headed.
You're right. And it's still going there. Can you believe even in the next 1 to 2 years, it's supposed to go up by billions? Many people are making the shift. Yeah.
Yes. Facebook has been able to outlast a lot of the other social media platforms that may have come and gone. It's a testament to it, but even if Facebook is no longer around, there will still be other advertising or social media platforms that 100%. That you can use.
And with that, how important do you think? Because I don't know if people use it just for lead generation or specifically for marketing a challenge, or how other course creators or content creators do it. But how important is it to also collect people's information, like emails and things, so that if a platform does go down or something does happen, then you're building your own list of people to continue marketing to?
You make a great point. How important is it? And there's a story about Arsenio Hall and the Arsenio Hall show. And I don't know if you've heard that story before.
No, please share it. I've never heard it.
So Arsenio Hall was he was a contestant on The Celebrity Apprentice. If you've heard of that show before.
Yeah.
And there was an episode where all of the apprentices needed to raise money for a charitable event. And all the other celebrities were able to raise money except Arsenio Hall. And when at the boardroom, when he was asked, well, what happened? Why weren't you able to raise any money? Everyone else was around and could raise money. Why weren't you able? And his answer revealed something very key. And he said that when I had a show, everybody returned my calls. But now that I don't have a show anymore, no one returns my calls. So if you're on a platform and you've got an audience, if that audience goes away, then you have no business. You have nothing. If Arsenio Hall had said, let me collect your information, and you're following me, because that's what they're following. They're following you. Let me follow you. Let me collect your information. Then when his show was canceled, he still has his audience because he's collected them as a lead. So that's a lesson to learn. If you're not collecting your own audience from someone else's platform, because Facebook it belongs to someone else. And if you're not collecting that, then there's a day that can come when you'll be just like Arsenio Hall, and you'll have no one to call because no one will return your call.
Fire. So important to know, because I feel like so many people are so focused and worried on growing their Instagram account and their Facebook and their groups. And while all of that is true, and you want to have those, quote unquote followers, because at the end you're wanting to provide value to them, what happens if it all goes away? So how else are you collecting the people that you're serving's information? So important.
Yes.
Which brings us I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and to be honest, it's not if it goes away, but it's a matter of when the algorithm will change, when the platform will change its rules, because it will happen. True. Facebook will, it seems as though I'll go on Facebook, and it's happened to me a couple of times where they'll say your post violates the policies. And I'll say, what did I do? And they'll start to add up the number of violations. And if you don't think that you're doing anything, but they feel that whatever you're posting is against their terms of service, they could immediately shut you down.
Yeah.
And what do you do when all of your source of leads, your source of sales, your source is gone? It is very important to not only let people be your followers, but that you're actually getting those contact information. So when the platform shuts you down or changes its algorithm, that you've got a way to still communicate with them, because it's you that they really are following. They're following you.
Now, talk to us about funnel building. I'm excited to be part of your group for Funnel Building 101. What is a funnel? We're not talking funnel cakes here, people. And what is like the short, quick version rundown of it? And what do you teach in the community that you've started and in that group? I would love to let people know about it.
Oh, when we talk about Funnel Building 101, a smile comes across my face. So, so if you're listening out there, just imagine a big smile on my face, because the community that we have inside of that group is some of the best entrepreneurs. They are supportive. We network. We share resources with each other. It's really a community where I teach funnel building, but it's about everyone's entrepreneurial journey and how we can support each other growing, making, whether if you haven't made a dime online and you're trying to make that first dollar online, we'll help you get there. If you're trying to make that $1,000 month, we help you get there. Or if you're going for your first $10,000 month, but it's a community that we come out to support each other, and we will help guide you in the right direction. And it's funny because we always need, I think that, what was I listening to someone the other day, and they were talking about how they had, here's the story. Can I tell another story real quick?
Please do.
So it was a funny story because it rang so true with me. Okay, so he's a young boy, and he said, I got beat up. I got into a fight with this little kid, and he said, but it wasn't really a fight. He said, I didn't want to get into a fight. I really just wanted to push back and forth. And then all of a sudden, this guy just pow, punches him in the face. And he's on the ground and he doesn't remember what happened, but he gets up. And then he was in like lower school, and then his brother comes in the direction. Mm-hmm. And he sees his brother and his friends coming up. And then all of a sudden, he gets up and says, oh, you know what? I'm not going to stand for this. You know what? I'm not going to stand for this. I'm going to get you back for this.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because he talked about how he became brave because his brother came up and was walking towards him. So
yes,
he wasn't afraid because someone who is not afraid of what he's afraid of is there, if that makes sense. So when you're going in this entrepreneurial journey and you don't know what's ahead of you, when you have someone to come in and you can lean on them, or you see that face come in, and it will give you the confidence to stand up to this road ahead and give you the confidence to go forward. And that's what we do inside the group, because we have people who are where you want to be, and they can give you the confidence when you come in, you get plugged in, you get around the environment, you stay around and you learn more, then that gives you the confidence to stand up to that person that knocked you down.
Yes.
Which is life a lot of times, or it might even be fear. It might be fear a lot of times.
Yeah, I can see a combination of both for sure. And at the same point too, again, this quote goes around and circles all over the place because it's so true. Like, you are the sum of the, people that you put yourself around. And so if you're in a community group like this, like you just said, and with the story, it's just going to motivate you and inspire you to step up in a way that maybe you wouldn't before, because now you're not talking to maybe your normal group of friends or coworkers, but now your mind has shifted its focus, and where focus goes, energy flows to the course you're wanting to create, to the funnel you're wanting to build, to making this more than just a hobby. You're wanting to actually learn the ins and outs of it. And with that, be accountable and declare, I'm doing this, and then have that support system, which is so important to really push yourself further in it.
Yes. And I'll give you the 1 minute definition of what a funnel is.
Perfect.
Okay, because I didn't touch on what is a funnel. So a funnel is a way to bring people in and communicate with them to make a purchase.
I love it. So yeah.
So before the internet, we had funnels. And I'll just a quick example of a funnel. You might receive a letter in the mail that was saying, hey, or you might be browsing in a magazine. And in the magazine, it might say, check here to receive more information. So if you check a box, or you send some information back to the company, they might send you a free item. And from there, that you were put on that person's email list or mailing list, and they would continue to communicate with you, sending you literature and brochures to get you to purchase something in the area that you showed interest in. So what I do is I teach those strategies, but we teach them with online tools. So there are tools that you can use online and digitally to help you accomplish that task, which is to bring people in and get them to purchase, and not only just purchase, but continue to purchase. Some people associate funnels with only being online, which is not the case. There are tools that you can use, and the tools that you can use can can range from messenger bots, they can range from emails, phone calls, text messages. So there are lots of different ways. I even have some of my unconventional ways. If you're ever watching late night television and you'll see the message scroll across the screen, it might have a QR code.
Oh, yeah.
It might have a QR code, or it might say text. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you an actual, one of my actual funnels. I say text Sales Funnel Academy to 888 ...
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's so interesting.
Yes. So I have a few of those as well, that when someone texts a phrase to a particular number, then they'll receive a message right back, and it will give for that funnel. I give them a free scholarship to my Sales Funnel Academy. It's my 8-day Sales Funnel Academy.
That's so awesome. And
yes.
how is that different? How is the funnel building 101 different from the digital product creation system that you have created?
Great question. So my digital product creation system, it shows business owners how to create their business selling digital products. So in that digital product creation system, I show them how to create digital products in 5 days.
Wow.
And in one of my videos, I show that there are, I only list maybe 50 different types of digital products, but there are hundreds of digital products that you can sell. And the reason I prefer digital products, and it's what I've been able to excel in, is because of my experience with physical products.
Oh, nice.
So that experience with physical products has led me to shy away from the physical products.
And your background with marketing, like, it feels like all of it's come together for you in such an amazing way with where we're at in 2021 and the rise of digital services.
Yes.
As a whole. So
yes. And you can create a business selling digital products. And my digital product creation system is what gives you instructions and the full steps to do that.
Do you need to have clarity on what the product is? I feel like so many people don't understand maybe to even get to the selling point and start setting up those processes to sell and market and scale it. Maybe some of them are having trouble with finding, well, this sounds interesting and I think I'd want to give this a true shot, but how do I gain clarity in what I want that to be? Do you share that also, or is that something they need to go into knowing?
That is day one.
Awesome. Okay.
That is day one. It's like, that is day one. But there are important things to remember, because you want to sell digital products that other people will buy. You don't want to sell digital products that only you will buy. So inside that course, I go in depth into finding out what others will buy.
Can you give us an example? What would an example be of that differentiation, if that's a word, of what you just said? I can't even repeat it. What you want to sell versus what they want to buy?
Well, have you ever had the greatest idea of what you are so excited about, and yet you take it to your friend or you tell others and they're just not as excited about it as you are?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you were to create something that you're excited about, it's not what your audience is excited about.
Yeah. You have to know who you're serving.
Yes, yes. So you have to know who you're serving, and that's part of it as well. And I
Mhm.
talk about customer avatar. I
Mhm.
talk about not only knowing your customer avatar, but knowing your avatar's story. And I
Mm.
even I show examples of my customer avatar. Funny, I named him, and I have a name for him. His name is David.
Yes.
And
Awesome.
and I show an example of my customer avatar and how I have really dug deep into what his likes are,
Hmm.
what he does every day, but not only what he likes, but what he dislikes. And from
Okay.
and from knowing those characteristics, then I can do more research to find out exactly what they are craving. What is it that they want? When you're an entrepreneur, you're a
Hmm.
problem solver. So
Hmm. That's the truth.
yes, you're solving problems. So you want to find out what problems are they having. And I walk you through the steps to go out there and find out the problems. And I'll tell you, I'll give you one super, super good nugget.
Yeah. Oh, please do share it with us.
The here's the funniest thing. I was having a conversation with someone the other day just about this. And I told them this is probably one of my number one places when I'm thinking about content creation.
Hmm.
And that is my messenger inbox.
Oh, nice.
My messenger
And why is
inbox.
that for you?
People, because I'm inside the group, people come to me and ask me questions.
Yeah.
People come and ask me questions, and they'll ask me questions just from seeing things on my personal profile.
Hmm.
And I'll typically know that if one person asks me a question, then there's thousands of others who probably have the same question.
Exactly.
And and if I get questions from my inbox, a lot of times I'll put that out there, and more likely than not, the ones that weren't speaking up
Hmm.
will respond. And
Yeah.
that's a good way to find out exactly what your audience wants. Once you get your customer dialed in and you know who they are, you know what they want, what they dislike, and you can
Hmm.
listen. That's what I
Yeah.
always say. Listen.
Yeah. Listen to what the customer wants. Wow, you've
Yes.
shared so many beautiful insights with us today. I always enjoy chatting with you, and it's been a pleasure to have you on the podcast and pick your brain a little bit. Again, this is Mark Douglas with the Mental Marketer. And Mark, before we wrap it up, I feel like you've
Yes.
shared so much with us, and it was nice to get an insight into your journey before starting all of this, because again, it's so important to know that all of us start from somewhere, and it's important to know that each of us can inspire someone with that story to how we are finding our fulfillment. Do you feel like we've missed anything in this conversation? Is there anything else you'd like to touch on or tell our audience about before we finish this episode?
Oh, is there anything that I feel I have missed out on? Well, I love your positive platform, Amber. I
Thank
love
you.
I love I love what you're doing. I love I love the book, and
You're so sweet. Thank you.
I
Appreciate
do.
that.
I appreciate you giving me an opportunity to come on and speak to your audience. If there was one last piece of nugget that I would leave with your audience, I would have to, I would have to, I would have to say that, you know, I had a conversation with someone just yesterday, and we were talking about visualization,
Hmm.
and and they were telling me that, you know, I'm visualizing it, and it's just not coming to me. I'm visualizing it, and every time I visualize it, it's just not coming to me. And
Yeah.
I said to him, I said, well, that's interesting, because I will visualize something, and I will ask for something, and then what I do is I let it go.
Yeah.
And I tune myself in to the environment, because I believe it's going to come to me. So, and it doesn't come to you the way you envision it. So it comes to you if I say, okay, I want to make $2,000 this week. It comes to you in going to watch a video on YouTube, noticing that, wow, okay, I heard what they said. I can help them with that.
Yeah.
Make a comment on that YouTube video, come back, check them out on their Facebook page, send a message. Hey, I just commented on your YouTube video. I can fix your funnel for you. I can make it, and I can do it, and I could do it. Have them respond back to you, and I'll tell them, I'll be the best funnel designer you've ever had. And then boom, $2,000 contract right there. If you're thinking that it's going to come into your lap, or if you have some idea of what it looks like, you may miss it. You may miss it. Just remember, when you set yourself a goal, pay attention to the environment around you and let it come to you.
Yeah. Awesome. Beautiful, yes. Beautiful note to end on. Thank you again for being with us today. There's so many beautiful pieces of wisdom and little nuggets to help people think on when it comes to what are you creating? How are you showing up? What is your mission? How are you defining fulfillment in your life and with the way you're going to serve and really next level, whether that's launching or scaling your business. So thank you for being here with us today. We appreciate you again, Mark, with the Mental Marketer, and all of the information and where you can find him is going to be in the show notes. But can you also let us know, is it just the website? Is it your Instagram? Where's the biggest place to find you?
My favorite place to hang out is inside of my Facebook group, Funnel Building 101.
Perfect.
And you can find that on Facebook just by going to the search bar, and it's FUNNEL, and building is BUILDING, space, and then it's the number 101. And if you hit the join button, there's a few questions to answer, and I'll even send you free access to my membership area, where we give away a lot of tools and trainings to help you succeed online. That's what it's about. It's about helping others succeed and the impact that you make.
Awesome. Guys, we cannot wait for you to tune in to our next episode. But before you do that, make sure you reach out to Mark. If any of this resonated with you at any capacity and it intrigued you and maybe a way you want to grow your business and Mark a message, you can reach out to us on the podcast too. We're happy to help and get you guys connected. Thank you again so much. And until next time. Thank you again for tuning in. And don't forget, if you enjoyed this episode, please follow and share. We'll see you next week.